Hello, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we're doing our shaky cam interior review inside a completely new 2020 Kia Soul. This is the GT line for this car. So the GT line is the turbocharged version of the Soul, but the new Soul is larger, has different engines than it's had before, and lots of changes. The interior, it's been a while since I've been in one, but the interior is far different. And then this GT line with this color package is awesome, really pretty. So let's just get right to it, because there's a lot to cover. Look at this. That's just your first glimpse of what's coming. So you can see the door handle and door lock there, and then here you can see the side mirrors and adjustment, and then here is door locks, windows, window lock there. Down here, first of the vents right there with a speaker. I'm going to talk more about those speakers because the stereo in here is booyah. All right, so here's your dimmers there. Here's your lane keeping assist. Here is your heads up display. So you toggle it on and off with that, and adjustments are in the driver information menus. Over here is blind spot management, engine stop start, and traction control. And that's all you got in there. Down there, the hood release right there in the corner. This is a little fuse box right there. So you pull this out, get the fuse boxes. Decent dead pedal for this car, considering what it is. You know, this really isn't a sports car. It feels like one a lot of the time, and it moves like one under your hands. But you know, it's not a 0 to 60 record breaker, anything like that. But it's fun. That's the point of this car. It's fun to drive. It's why you get this special GT line. If you get the standard one, it's still pretty fun. Just not quite as peppy and not quite as, I don't know, you know, fun, just visceral, I think is the word I'm looking for. So back to it. Kind of digressed there, didn't I? Yeah, I don't ever do that. Okay, over here, this is a combination set of controls. So this is mostly infotainment. So these go up and down tracks. They are reversed. So you jump forward a track by the down with the down one, jump back or rewind with the top one. So they're reversed. You get used to that pretty quick though, and it's nice because if you drive like this, like you should with an airbag, by the way, if you drive like this, you can do this. So that's a nice placement. Here is voice control. Voice control in Kia's new Uvo infotainment is really good. It's not the best I've ever had, but it's definitely one of the better ones. Very good system. So get used to using that and use it often. I'll show you the infotainment interface and the touch screen, and you'll see a little bit why that's a good thing, because some of the stuff is really push and touchy intensive. It takes a little effort. I'll just wiggle around, right? Make you sick. All right. Up here is your mode, so that changes the input mode for the stereo, so you can jump from like satellite radio to Bluetooth or something like that. And then here's your telematics for telephone calls. Up and down is volume. Push it in, and that mutes. You can also mute with the actual volume knob over there. I'll show you in a minute. Over here is the cruise control and driver information screen. So it's kind of a combination, and it can get a little confusing. Most cruise controls, you turn them on and then you use a dongle like this, right? If the dongle is there, that means that's probably what you're using to control cruise control. Not so with this one. With this one, this is the cruise control. You can go up and down mileage, so you can set the mileage, you know, say you set the cruise control and it's at 74 and you want it to be 75, you can push that, get it up to 75. And then you cancel down here. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. This is the distance you're following. So all of this stuff is cruise control. This stuff is not. This is the main menus on the driver information screen, and this goes up and down through the menus, and you push it to OK, in other words, select. So you have to get used to that division of workload on this dial, and it does take a minute, especially if you're already used to, you know, here's cruise, and you're using this toggle to do the rest of it. So it will take a little bit to get used to that. Paddle shifters, right? Because, you know, GT line. GT, Gran Turismo, you're going to be racing. That's the implication. All right, so over here you got washer wipers and so forth, so pretty straightforward. You can see there's an auto mode, so you put it right on the first one, that's auto mode, and then there's low and high. You go just up once to get a quick one, and then back and forth for misting, so you go back and it does the rear window, pull it forward, does the front window. This runs the back, and then this, there's a toggle on either side, right? So I can do it both ways. This is selecting the speed of the wipers themselves. Excuse me, or how fast to respond, so how aggressive the auto are for those wipers. So over here, the other paddle shifter, getting in the way of the view of this, which is the signal turns and the lighting. So you can see I have it on auto, but you can see the selections there, pretty straightforward. Down here, you flip this one, again, it's on both sides, so you can do it from the back if you want. That's fog lamps, and then back and forth for your high beams. Pull it towards you for just a quick blip, and back to turn them on. That's about it. So we'll get into the instrument cluster. For some reason I feel really far away now. I don't know, I didn't shift the seat. Anyway, over here you got your RPM. Down there is engine heat. I have been running this a little bit this morning. It's been running for a little while. Took the kids to school and all that. Over here is the speedometer, and then tiny right in the middle you can see the Canuck miles per hour. Down there is fuel. So I have put a little over, I believe, 120 miles on this car. I'll have to look at I'll look in a second at that. But I'm pretty sure it's about 120 miles, so you can see what the mileage is. This does really good on fuel economy, even when you drive aggressive like I've been. Because the car's fun. I can't say that enough. It is fun to drive. Fun. Anyway, so this is the driver information screen. This over here doesn't change. That's the gear. You do have a manual shifting option, but most of the time you're just going to be looking at like park, drive, and so on. Down there's the outside temperature. You can see it's nice and cold today, frost warning. Over here is the odometer. So this stuff down here, other than that shifting and the temperature changing, these do not change. They stay there the whole time. Up there is assumed miles for the rest of the fuel up there. So that I believe does change, but I haven't seen it change myself because I haven't been paying attention. So let's go through these menu screens. So you can see I have it on my favorite one, even though this does have a head-up display. I've been using this because the head-up display, I drove at night the other night, and the head-up display is bright. It's a little brighter than I would want. So, you know, and it's very difficult to adjust it because you have to do it through these menus, and when you're driving, it's a little hard to get through those menus and do that stuff. So I just turned it off using that hard button down there I showed you, and then just turned this on and used it. So anyway, here you go. This is the compass, and then there's a going through these menus. Here you can see a few other things just going around. You can look at what there is. This stuff is off because we're not actually driving. Now here is settings. So you can do the head-up display right here. It does have to be on, so you have to turn it on in order for these menus. Otherwise, all you get is this. Everything's blacked out, won't let you do anything, right? But if I turn on the head-up, and you hear it deploy, see? It's deploying right there. Got it? Then all of these become active, and you can do stuff with them. So kind of useful. I will note that it tends to reset itself. So like right now I am having to move the display again because it put itself at default, which is for a person a lot shorter than me. But now you get the idea of what that is. So then you have some driver assistance and other settings. You can go through these and lots of cool stuff, and then we're back to that. So what I wanted to do, actually I should have stayed where I was, is look at these, because you can see a lot of what's going on with the car. Here's my average fuel economy. So you can see 26.8. That's pretty close to actual testing. I did a little better than that on the highway with a highway loop, but not by a lot. And then you can see I forgot to reset the trip go figure. See, when you have the odometer pointing at you all the time, it's really easy to just use that and not do the, you know, and forget to just set this stuff. But you can see over more than 1,000 miles, the average fuel economy is even 30 miles a gallon. That's not terrible at all. This, I don't remember when this one was reset. I must have reset it by default somewhere. Oh, this is the current drive. So I moved a whole 1.1 miles today, taking the kids to school and coming back. And you can see my terrible fuel economy doing so because it's been idling most of that time. So there you go. That's what's in these. And yeah, I like these displays. They're useful, and there's not cluttered up. There's not a whole bunch of crap in there that you don't actually need. So good to go. Now let's get to this big old infotainment screen. You see Kia's going with the round thing. That's their new motif in most of their vehicles. You'll see it in a lot of Kias. We saw it in the Forte. Now you're seeing it here. It's a pretty dash though. I like the way it's designed. So this round thing houses this big widescreen display. Great display. It's really easy to see. My camera here is not doing it justice because it's really easy to see what's going on here. The stuff at the top more or less stays the same the whole time. This is connectivity for the phone and battery for the phone, and then you can see there's the date, there's the clock. Those things pretty much don't change. This will change a little bit, but it's reactive to whatever's going on this screen. So you can see we're on kind of like the main menu. Out of 3, you can just vaguely see there's 2 more. So this is kind of like the home screen. This is where it defaults. So you have quick access to your maps and nav, you have quick access to your audio, and then local weather if it can ever find it, which this Kia, for whatever reason, cannot. Probably because I didn't hook up my phone to it. Over here you can see you can do the sound mood lamp. Now this is cool stuff. So right now I have it on Dreamy Purple. You can try all these other ones. Very cool, right? So what happens is, I like the Super Red too, by the way. It looks really cool. So what happens is you have a glow, or you can do a color theme, which is even cooler. Party Time is my favorite, I think, out of these. But you can see there's a few of them. And basically what it does is you can set how reactive and bright it is. This is the interior ambient lighting. So there's a light around that ring. There's a light under there. This is that lighting, okay? That's it. It's just that lighting. And, you know, floorboard light and a few other things. What these do is react to the music. So as the music's playing, you got this stuff doing the club thing. It's frigging awesome. And it's not distracting because they don't get really bright. They don't get too bad. And you have full control over that. You can tell it how bright to be. And it's pretty good at reacting to just the bass beats. So it looks really good when you're listening to hard music and there's some double bass. Just FYI, double bass. Yeah. So when you got some metal going, this looks really cool. Again, especially that one. And just the straight up glowing one. So the red one is cool at night, especially because that's when it's most visible. The red one is cool because red does not interfere with your night vision. So it's a nice touch. These golden ones should be about the same. Really fun. I really like this. It's cool. So that's fun stuff. Uvo here is the actual system, so that's what the whole thing is called. Uvo you can use this to do some connectivity apps and other stuff, so you see all of that. If you have it on your phone, you can connect those when you plug in. Here's driving info screens. So for those of you who want to gamify your driving, this will show you some stuff that what you've been doing, what's going on, and you can watch what's happening, right? That's your current drive, by the way. And then the rest of it, fairly straightforward. Third menu here, you can throw in some favorites and stuff, whatever you've been favoriting as you're going along, and whatever you use a lot. So this right here is a favorite button. Every Uvo, every Kia has that. So anytime something comes on, like a song that you really like or whatever, boom, hit that, add it to your favorites. So nice setup. I like, whoops. Oh, and you can change your icons and stuff, FYI. So there's a lot of really cool stuff in here. You just have to get used to using it, really. So if you do get one of these or spend time on one of these at the dealer lot or something, sit down and play with this for a while. Spend the time. Well worth it. So here's hard buttons to get to what you're doing. You got a map button there, nav button there. Difference there is this just shows a map. This jumps to the navigation system so you can enter address, something like that. Jump tracks right here, as you can on the steering wheel. This is the same, except these are right way around. Radio there, media, and setup, pretty close, pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need to do a lot there. So this is volume. You push it into mute, and you can turn it back and forth. Over there's a tuning like you would expect. That is the Duke's lights, nice and big and prominent. Not sure why, but there you go. Nice big. It looks balanced. I think that's what they were aiming for. Down here, climate controls. Pretty straightforward. Not a lot to explain. You put it on auto. You can set temperatures. You do your thing, and it runs, and it's good to go. Turn it off like that, and the rest of it's pretty clear. I don't think I need to explain it. Defrosts are not right there. They're up here. Right? This got confusing when I first saw it, because the first thing I saw was that, not those, and I thought, oh, okay, defrost, and I hit that. It's not it. That's just where the fan goes. Defrost is up here. It's pretty aggressive with the defrost, so they work really well, worth using. Now, down here, a little bit complicated. This is where you throw a phone, and it's a key charger. This is a wireless charger in this model. When it's charging, this will light up over here. My only bummer with this is I have left my phone in there more than once, because you forget your phone is just sitting in there. You can't really see it. It's kind of tucked in, sitting there, kind of blends. So you forget your phone, and you're halfway or most of the way into the store, and then you go, oh yeah, my phone, and you have to go back for it. Down here, there's 12 volt, there's a USB, and there's a charging only USB over there. And this is, what would be the word I use? I accidentally shut the car off. This is rubber, so it's non-slip. Kind of a good place to just throw things, and you can throw your phone in there where you can see it if you don't need it to charge. Now, looking at the shifter. This is the engine stop-start right here. So this is how you start the engine. This shifter feels good. Push the button, move it around. You can see there, and then when you're in drive like that, you can go into manual and shift the gears like that. So cool. Button warmers here. This changes the drive mode. You only have two, normal and sport. Big difference is sport mode tends to run the engine slightly higher in RPM and is more aggressive about staying in lower gears to keep those RPMs up. Over here is the steering wheel heat, and then you see here cup holders. Good size, fit most things, decent. Handbrake, because every small car should have one of these. Handbrake. Wow. Storage bin. So I like this. It's a good elbow rest, by the way. It fits just right. A little storage bin, decent stuff in there. Probably ought to get this out. I'm going to need this paperwork. I like it. Feels just right. Decent amount of stuff. Decent amount of room. And good cloth seating. I cannot say enough good things about cloth seating when it's done well, and this is done really well. Bolsters are good, not too thick, not too pushy or anything like that. Could be a little more aggressive, but again, this is not a real sports car. It just feels like one, and there's a difference. So very comfortable seats, good seats in this car. And again, just look at all of this. Just look at how they floated around and made it look good. Black on black does not look terrible when you throw in things like piano black, chrome surrounds, and these red highlights, especially with that, and then at night with the ambient lights showing and everything. It's just really nice. Back seat, bigger than it used to be, far bigger than it used to be. Adult friendly now, didn't used to be that way. So in the new 2020, much more adult friendly back seating, and decent amount of cargo in here. I'll show you that now. The cargo space is a good size for the car. It's bigger than it was before, I can say that definitively. The last time I had one of these, I hauled fencing. I'll show you a picture of that. It was like my welcome to Wyoming, Kia. I put a bunch of fencing in the back of the car because it's Wyoming. And this time, I think if I was to buy the same fencing, I could probably get triple what I did before, because it's just a much bigger cargo area. So that's really it. That's all I got. That's the 2020 Kia Forte, or Kia Forte, 2020 Kia Soul. And this is, again, the GT line. There are some differences in packaging. So sitting in it right now, $28,710. But you can get it far cheaper than that. This is probably the most expensive model. I don't think I get any more expensive than this one. So that's it. That's all I got. This has been Aaron, AaronOnAutos.com. Talk to you again soon.
Subscribe.